Namaste, Pranam, Gita ध्यान। ॐ पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वामनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणीम्। O Bhagavad Gita, with which Lord Narayana himself gave enlightenment to Arjuna. The ancient sage Vyasa included it in the Mahabharata. O goddess, showering nectar-like knowledge of Advaita through those 18 chapters, O my affectionate mother, I meditate upon thee. Krishna Vandana. वसुदेव सुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकीं परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम्. O Lord, son of Vasudeva, slayer of Kansa and Chanur, extreme delight for Mother Devaki, O Krishna, supreme teacher of the universe, my salutations to you. And let us continue with the description that Sri Krishna is providing to Arjuna on his query, sthita-prajñasya ka bhasha. What is the description of this person who is you have been calling him as equipoised, the person with steady wisdom, not fluctuating. So what is the description? And Sri Krishna in the previous verse, he had started giving that description. That abandoning this kind of person abandons all the desires from his heart and remains satisfied in the self, by the self. Remains satisfied in his self, away from any pleasures and pains. Away from any desires. There are no desires. He has abandoned them all. So that is one sign of such a person, who is a sthita-prajña. And Sri Krishna continues again about pacification of the mind. duḥkheṣhv-anudvigna-manāḥ sukheṣhu vigata-spṛihaḥ vīta-rāga-bhaya-krodhaḥ sthita-dhīr Muni. Sthita-dhīr Muni. Munis, that person is called as sage of steady wisdom. That Sri Krishna is giving that description to Arjuna in reply to his question. duḥkheṣhv, in adversity, in misery, in pain, in grief. duḥkheṣhv, not good times, in bad times. Anudvigna-manāḥ, of the unshaken mind. He will see this person be of unshaken mind in the calamities, in the bad times, in the state of dukkha, in the times of dukkha, in the times of adversity. This person is unshaken, unperturbed. Sukheṣhu vigata-spṛihaḥ. When the good times comes, it is not that he is vigata-spṛihaḥ. He is not hankering after, oh, wonderful, let me have this good time all the time. No. The bad time has come. Fine, that is a bad time. He remains unperturbed and equally unperturbed when the good time comes. When the time of pleasure and happiness and joy, all the positive things keep happening in his life. There also, there is no jubilation, there is no kind of jumping up and showing his emotions, how happy he is. No, for him, both times are the same. Vīta-rāga-bhaya-krodhaḥ. Vita is free from. Free from what? Raga, bhaya, krodha. Free from attachment. Rag. We have attachment for so many things. So, that person is free from attachment, raga, bhaya, fear, and krodha, and anger. That person is totally free from any kind of attachment or fear or anger. He is just the same sighted. Such a person, sthita-dhīr, munir uchyate. Such a person, such a sage, such a Muni, such a seer is called as sthita-dhīr. He is a person of steady wisdom. Sthita. So now Sri Krishna has elaborated further description of this sthita. He whose mind is not perturbed by adversity, who does not crave for happiness, who is free from fondness, fear, and anger, is the Muni, is the sage of constant wisdom, is the sage of steady wisdom, is sthita-dhīr, sthita-prajna. There is no end to events in this world which come as trials and tribulations to man. Day in and day out we see it. One moment things are going in our favor, next moment they are not. And how do we react? How do we react to these different experiences? Different experiences of good times and bad times. How fiercely we react. We become overjoyed at the good happenings. We start jumping around. We express our happiness to one and all who come in our contact as if nobody is as happy as you. Nobody is as happy as me. One small bad thing and that's it. We get shattered. We are absolutely, we are wrecks. So, and there are also times when there are very good times. So we all undergo these periods of trials and tribulations, the periods of success and failure, the periods of joy and sorrow. The way of the ordinary man is to get afflicted by them. Yes, we show our emotions, we show our the kind of grief that we have, that we get into. We express everything. We are emotionally so weak that little good, we get elated. We start hankering after that good, and little bad, that's it. We start expressing as if there is no unfortunate fellow in this world like me. I am the only sufferer in this world. But the man of wisdom remains unperturbed, viewing them as unavoidable, but effect as the extent ignored. A learned person, a sage, also undergoes the same experiences of joy and sorrow, of happiness and unhappiness, of pleasure and pain, but he takes it as command of the God. He takes it as the gift of the mother. Fine, today it is that time, it will go. Tomorrow a good time will come. Now is the bad time. Next moment it will be a moment of joy. So why should I get afflicted by that? By adding fuel to fire, its volume and intensity increase. Desire for happiness increases similarly in a worldly man, never in a jnani, one who has understood the self, one who has had the self-realization. For him, any kind of happening is happening of God. That is his prasad. Whatever he gives, whatever the mother gives, I accept it. I take it. I face it boldly. I face it with a challenge. No time is good time for me. No time is bad time for me. That becomes his attitude. Because for him, all the time is eternal time. In the midst of an ever-increasing number of objects of happiness, he lives entirely unconcerned with them. He's not bothered about all these niceties or all these bad happenings. He is not at all bothered. These three traits, he is further free from attachment, fear, and anger. These three are the primary culprits in our bondage with this physical world. Our bondage with this delusion, attachment to family, friends, the properties, and our way of living, attachment. Fear of losing something. We have got so many fear complexes built up within us. Fear of losing something, fear of death, fear of loss, fear of failure. All these fears, they make our life so miserable. What happens in case of seer? He doesn't have any of those attachments because he lives in this world like witness. Like a witness, he lives in this world. He is not part of it. Like that drop of water on the lotus leaf. That drop of water on the lotus leaf. Lotus leaf, it doesn't become wet. It doesn't absorb that water. No, that drop is there, fine. So what? Tomorrow that drop will fall down. The leaf remains intact, unperturbed. So he has no attachment. He lives in the midst. Like Sri Ramakrishna used to give that example, that he used to tell the story of the maid servant in rich man's house. She will do all her duties. She will love the children of that house like her own. She will dote upon those children. She will have such great affection for them. Bhai Ram, if that is the name of the child of a landlord's son. Bhai Durga, that is she's daughter's name. She will shower so much of love and affection on them. But she is not attached to them. She knows in her heart of hearts that her Ram, her Durga, her son, her daughter, they are there in her place. Tomorrow this landlord, this master can terminate her services and tell her, don't come from tomorrow. So, like that maid servant, remain in this world. Do all your duties. Let people feel that you are so much attached to them, but you remain unattached. You keep on doing all your duties most sincerely, most tenaciously, most perseveringly, in all sincerity, with all honesty, but don't get attached. So that is freedom from attachment and freedom from fear also. What to fear of? We are mother's children. Why should we be afraid of anything? We have got such a tremendous store of energy inside us, dwelling inside us. We are part of that Brahman. Can anybody do any harm to us? No one can. So why fear? Why be afraid of anything? So, jnani, The person who has realized the self, sthita-prajna, is free from fear also. And anger, that is the third important culprit that is ruining our lives. For every small thing happening which we are not expecting, we just lose our temper. Just for nothing. For that moment when we lose temper, we are like demons. We may do anything. And one person who has conquered these three blemishes, these three culprits who has conquered, he becomes a person of steady wisdom. Fondness is attachment which robs the aspirant of discrimination. Man fails to see defects in those he is fond of. Detached love is what is wanted. Man is not fond of a poisonous snake, but he fears it. Fear is born of ignorance. It deprives man of manliness. It is worse than death. Fearlessness is the message of the Upanishads. All of the Upanishads proclaim, be fearless. The Jnani fears nothing including death. See, it is said that the worst fear anyone can have, apart from this failure and freedom, fear of failure, fear of ridicule, fear of getting discarded, fear of rejection for that matter. All these fears, fear of death is the worst fear any person has. Everybody tries to shy away from the concept of death. Everybody wants to avoid facing that question, facing that situation of what will happen when I die. People are not willing to accept the fact that a day is going to come where the existence of this body is going to cease. This body is going to become like a log of wood, which will be eventually put to crematorium and burn off, turn it into the ashes, and just then you get all we get is half a pound of ashes. So, fear of death is the worst fear that ordinary people can have. Now, practice of fearlessness is imperative for not only the seeker of wisdom, but also for all who want to thrive in life. When you have conquered the fear of death, what else is there to be afraid of in this world? Enjoy your life. Enjoy your communion with the Divine Mother. Enjoy being a child of the Mother. Enjoy being a servant of the Master. Bhima, brother immediately elder to Arjuna, is one not at all attached to Kauravas and in no way afraid of them. But he is bitterly angry with them. Now the third, the culprit that we have been talking about, the attachment, fear and anger. How anger can destroy us. Bhima, the second of the Pandava brothers, he was not at all attached. He was not at all attached. He was not afraid. No, he was just a mighty warrior. But he had that element of anger within him, which what Sri Krishna has said, which has brought him down to the level of an ordinary person then. Although he is a Mahabaho, yes, he is a man of great stature. He doesn't have attachment, he doesn't have fears, but he has anger within himself. And that anger, he is unfit to be Krishna's disciple. That's why Sri Krishna has chosen Arjuna to be his disciple among the 5 brothers. All the 5 brothers, They had good qualities, they had not so good qualities, fine. And Arjuna was one who at times exhibited all these qualities of being non-attached, being fearless, and free from anger. Here, on the Kurukshetra battlefield, all that wisdom had gone blind by the delusion. And he had just slept in his chariot and told Krishna that now I cannot fight. Now, then finally he surrendered himself to Sri Krishna. Please teach me now. You are my guru. You are my guide. You are my friend. You show me the path. What should I do? So, the mind that is free from attachment, fear and anger evolves in excellence. Brahmajnani is necessarily established in these virtues. So these are the symptoms of finding any person who is equipoised, who is balanced in bad times and good times. Any person who is devoid of these three culprits, attachment, fear and anger, know for sure he is a sthita-dhīr. That is Sri Krishna's teaching to Arjuna on his question of sthita-prajnasya ka bhāsha. And on this Sri Ramakrishna says, man given to envy, anger and timidity never grows in spiritual stature. He cannot. That's what Sri Ramakrishna says. Like Sri Krishna has said. Sri Ramakrishna says a person who is given to envy, jealousy. Here is jealousy, envy, all this comes out of attachment. You get attached to something and then you don't possess it. And then that feeling of jealousy, that feeling of envy, all those negative, monstrous tendencies, they start building in you. So Sri Ramakrishna says, till the time a person has these qualities of envy, his quality of anger and timidity, always afraid of something, these three qualities, these three negative qualities, they keep him away from attaining a higher spiritual stature. So, attachment, fear and anger, we have to be always cautious about them. Let us try to get rid of these three most detrimental qualities that bring us down from the higher spiritual planes and try to get into that state of being a sthita-prajna. So that is what Sri Krishna has told Arjuna today and all of us. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Sri Krishna Arpanamastu. Jai Sri Ramakrishna. Jai Thakur. Jai Ma. Jai Swami.